Hey folks, Nathan here from the Star Wars Timeline Gold, Star Wars Beyond the Films, and the gaming podcast Cloud City Casino at StarWarsReport.com, bringing you a look at the second of the two new ships for the X-Wing miniatures game from Fantasy Flight Games that were just released in the same week as the theatrical premiere of Star Wars Rogue One. Appropriately, these are Rogue One ships. We saw the U-Wing in the last of these videos, at least in terms of the order of the playlist. Now we're taking a look at the TIE Striker. Not to be confused with the Sky Striker, which I believe was a G.I. Joe vehicle, right? Something like that. So, again, I'm on the tripod this time. Let me know if you think this tripod thing works better than the handheld. The handheld lets me get closer. The tripod makes it more stable. So, it's kind of up to you which one you think works better in terms of what I'll use going forward here. But I have it this way right now, mainly so I can manipulate a couple things as we go. So, this is the TIE Striker. And I would note here, from the visual guide, that this is the TIE SK. Okay, it is more a speeder than a fighter, and interestingly, while the X-Wing gang makes no use of it, it is actually a two-man vehicle, or a two-man ship, speeder, whatever you want to call it. You're supposed to have basically a pilot and a bombardier in this. So you can do all those pilot to bombardier kind of jokes while you're playing, I guess, right? It's one of our smaller ships, so we're looking at about a $15 price tag on this here. And it's interesting in that it gives us quite a variety as far as pilots go, but when it comes to upgrades, it's relatively lacking. Let's look at the miniature first, though. So this is the TIE Striker. Now, you may be saying, I've seen previews of this, and I've seen, like, Lego toys and stuff. I don't get it. Why do I always see it with the weird wing configurations? Well, it's because the wings can change configurations. Okay, they can be upward or downward. Either way, kind of looking like somebody sliced the side off of a TIE Interceptor and slapped the control pod kind of thing in between. But this is supposed to hold two individuals, even though it doesn't really look like it from this perspective because of just how small it is, but it is supposed to be. The game does not seem to take that into account, though, as we'll get into momentarily. So we have reference cards as I walk around, and my sound probably changes, for Segnor's Loop, not to be confused with Senor's Loop, which is something else I'm pretty sure Trump would say it has to do with taco trucks or something. We have modifications and upgrades reference card. Then we have our pilots, right? Our ship cards. We have Duchess, we have Black Squadron Scout, and a ship token to have them both on there. We have Countdown and Imperial Trainee with their ship token. We then have Pure Sabacc and Scarif Defender with their ship token. I don't think it's much of a spoiler to say that we will see these on Scarif. And part of the rationale of the idea of, well, why didn't we see these in the other movies? This is stupid. Is because a lot of the new technologies we wind up seeing in the film are either gone by the end of the film, used up by the end of the film, or specific to certain locations in the film for logical in-universe reasons, albeit reasons you'd have to see something like the visual guide to actually make sense of. As far as other items, we have our maneuver dial, our little ID token here, or ship ID token there that we can stick inside one of the little, maneuver dial holder things. We have one move stress token, one evade token, a critical hit token. We have two focus tokens, or foci tokens, whatever. We have more ID tokens there for number 63. And we only have a paltry 3 upgrade cards. We have adaptive ailerons, that's these things, right? Just for the TIE Striker. We have swarm leader, and we have lightweight frame. Lightweight frame being only for TIEs as a modification. Again, I feel like this has quite a few options, 3 named, albeit kind of generic pilot, because we have no idea who they are and where they fit into the grand scheme of things, and 3 literally generic, non-unique pilots. But then when it comes to upgrades, very, very little. I would have expected, given the backstory created for this ship that made its way into the visual guide and may have made it into other material here for Rogue One, I would have expected us to maybe have some crew members to act as the bombardier, but we don't. it makes me think that maybe this was in the works and they had all this stuff worked out well before it was decided that this would be a two-man craft, where it would make sense to have other characters there as upgrades to add as crew. It may just be that they chose not to do it, but it seems to me like that's something that Fantasy Flight Games would have jumped on because they like to use those types of cards. We saw quite a few of them with the U-Wing. So, just food for thought. Be interested to see what Fantasy Flight Games says as to why they didn't add crew to this vehicle, or this ship, this starfighter, if it's meant to be a two-man craft. We'll just have to see. I'm very curious about that. But a nice addition, a cool-looking addition, and something that fans of Rogue One are probably going to want to pick up to add to their Imperial arsenal for X-Wing.